So 10 reasons not to move out here to Orange County, California. There are a lot of good reasons to move out here, but there are pros and cons to everywhere, and we want to be real with you about the cons, because the worst thing that could happen is you could move out here to a beautiful Orange County and be like, you know what?
It's not so beautiful.
Well, I don't know if anyone would say that, but you know, it's not for me. I mean, everyone's different, right? This could definitely, maybe it's not the place for you for whatever reason. Maybe because of one of these 10 reasons, or 2 or 3 of them. That's why you gotta watch the whole video to make sure that you are educated about what it's like to really live here in Orange County, California. So let's get started. Now, obviously some of these that we're gonna say, you're gonna be like, yeah, of course. I mean, duh. But we do have to mention them, otherwise people are gonna be like, why didn't you mention that? But let's get to one that maybe is a little bit counterintuitive or a little bit surprising. I would say when you do live here in Orange County, I would say that you become soft. Like, it's very convenient here, and the weather is so ideal and so beautiful that you really just become like kind of a wuss. You complain about everything.
You have no tolerance.
You have no tolerance. Like, if something is more than 5 minutes away, you're like, oh, I'm not going there. Like,
oh, God forbid you have to leave the orange bubble for anything.
Oh, I hate leaving the orange bubble. I refuse to do it.
Yeah, like if you're having to go to LA,
oh,
you're just like, oh, okay, do
yeah.
I really have to go? Because I
yeah.
really don't want to.
I really, really don't want to go. Yeah. So, you know, and I feel like, you know, Americans themselves are fairly soft. I used to know somebody, he was a triathlon coach. He coached a lot of Olympians, and he wouldn't work with Americans because he said Americans were used to like so much convenience that they were just very soft and they would complain about everything. And Californians are even worse than that. People from Orange County are even worse than that.
Yeah, we're kind of like the princess and the pea, right? Like,
yeah.
We just, you know, you feel that, like that slight imperfection.
Yeah.
And it really gets to you because life is kind of perfect. So
yeah.
again, those little things that, again, the rest of the world would go, that's your problem.
Yeah.
And you blow it up out of proportion.
For sure. And since we are kind of hinting at the weather here, the ideal weather, I would say that some people, they really don't like that it doesn't have seasons here. I mean, I notice the seasons because I can tell when it'll be 76, but it'll have that slight tinge of fall in the air. I can tell. But I would say the average person would be like, it seems like this is the same as every day.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where if you're wanting all 4 seasons, unless that 4 seasons range is within 10 degrees, like you're gonna be kind of a bit, feel lacking, I guess.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I mean, I always use the example of one of my best friends. She's from Salt Lake City, and she's lived out here in Southern California, not in Orange County, but just south in, you know, San Diego County. And she really, really misses the snow. She misses the seasons. She doesn't like that it's Groundhog Day every day here.
And before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Dezad.
And I'm Courtney Dezad, and we are licensed real estate agents here in the state of California.
And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, wow, Sean, I love Orange County. I love the glitz. I love the glamour. I love the sky. I love those clear blue skies. And I can't wait to move out here now. But the problem is that I'm not local, and maybe out of state, and maybe even out of the country. So I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to us so we can have that conversation, really find out specifically what you're looking for, and find, you know, again, really get granular about it, and then be your boots on the ground. We can be on the ground finding these homes for you, really kind of basically doing virtual tours of not just the properties but also the neighborhoods as well, to really kind of lay the land for you. So that way when you come out here, you can make it super efficient about what you're looking for and really spend your time effectively here. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, remember that number right there, that is a cell phone, so you can call or text it, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country. And
also remember, we do have a team here, so even if I may not be available at that moment, my team, a team member is, so that way someone's always available for you. So you definitely want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Now let's talk about something that really, really sucks. I honestly hate this.
Yeah, the first couple things were like kind of splitting hairs.
Yeah.
This actually is legitimate, and again, we have to bring it up, of course.
And that is traffic. Traffic in Orange County and all the metropolitan areas of the United States.
Or the world.
Or the world. It just sucks. Like, it really sucks. I hate it. Ask my kids. I'm constantly swearing in the car, and I try not to swear around them, but in the car it just comes out. Yeah, my father was a Navy SEAL, so I grew up like with a sailor, right? So I have a sailor's mouth, so. Yeah,
and the thing is, I will say that at least, okay, so if we're great on a curve, the traffic actually isn't bad because like what we're surrounded by, like the Inland Empire, San Diego, Los Angeles, Their traffic is horrifically bad.
Yeah.
Our traffic is just bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is that what's nice is that we do have, like, for as much as small of a land mass as Orange County is, you have a lot of freeways that run through it. And on top of that, you have a lot of major arteries. You have a lot of major roads that actually run through Orange County. So you can take alternate routes, like, you know, where if traffic's backed up on the 55 freeway, okay, you're taking some other roads to kind of get you around it. And it's actually rather effective, where if you're in LA, there is no getting around the traffic. You are stuck, and just deal with it. Just hopefully have some good podcasts going, and you know, or some audiobooks, because you're gonna be sitting in traffic for a while.
But honestly, as a big audiobook fan, sometimes the traffic is like no amount of audio, not even the best audiobook I've ever listened to is gonna make me not be irritated by certain times of day in certain spots. Let's just put it that way. So another negative of Orange County, and this goes really for honestly any large metropolitan area. You know, I've heard people, you know, there's this whole thing about, you know, Southern hospitality, and I've heard that in big cities that's actually not true. So the same goes for Orange County. People tend to stick to themselves, like people...
Not as neighborly.
Not very neighborly, you know, it's just, you know, people kind of have their blinders on. That's what you have to do if you live in a big city. And
what I will say to that is that basically, you know, we definitely move at a faster pace than, you know, than let's say, I guess a small town, yeah, exactly. So you do kind of, when you're moving at a faster pace, now we're not like a New York minute fast, but we're definitely faster, like we're closer to that than like, let's say the small town kind of thing, where it feels like people are like kind of moving underwater when they're trying to get stuff done. It honestly, like I have a hard time dealing with people that are going super, super slow. And, you know, so at least with Orange County, you are moving at about a faster pace. I think that kind of contributes to the lack of hospitality, because you're just trying to move, like get from point A to point B. And to stop and smell the roses, for better or for worse, isn't really as much of an option.
Yeah, and this isn't to say, I mean, I'm not from Orange County, I'm from San Diego, so I moved out here, and I've definitely like made friends over the years. Like, I've had many friends that I've made over many different years and many different phases of my life. You know, when I was working in corporate America, I've made them at, you know, my kids' schools. So it's not to say that people aren't going to be your friend, or like they don't want to like make friends or anything like that. It's just that you have to get used to, when you're standing in line at the grocery store, people are not going to talk to you. Like, that's just not the way. And don't take it personally. Like, they're not talking to anybody. It's not about you.
Yeah, and actually I would say, like, you know, I think that maybe from a small town vibe, like, because there's not as many people just kind of find ways to relate. Whereas when you're in a bigger metropolitan area, you save that for like what your hobbies are, what your interests are. You find groups that kind of you're more aligned with anyway, and that's kind of where you're pouring more of your time into than some random person that happens to live next to you or you bump into on the street.
Yeah, for sure. Another negative of Orange County is there are a lot of HOAs. Now, not everywhere, so if you hate homeowners associations, reach out to us, because there's definitely many parts of Orange County that aren't HOAs, but there are many parts that are. Like, for example, we are in Irvine right now. I don't know if you can see the balloon behind us. But yes, so Irvine is homeowners association land, right? Like, it's
kind of where it all started.
Kind of where it all started. So it's hard to get away from HOAs if you hate them.
Yeah, we're at ground zero, the epicenter of homeowner associations.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be an extra fee or cost that you're going to tack on to whatever your payment is for your home. It just is what it is. Now, I personally don't mind them, because I find that it keeps things clean and uniform and just looks pretty, you know, makes a nice aesthetic. However, some people have been on the other side of that coin too, where I was, you know, my family, we had a house that was in a homeowner association in Hawaii, and we painted our house a certain color, and it wasn't part of their approved palette. And so they started fining us until we repainted it, which is extremely frustrating, because it's your house. You feel like, okay, you have some right. And it's not like we painted it, you know, pink or purple. It was just a color that they didn't approve of, right? Which was really irritating. So what else will say that is that I kind of understand both sides of it, but if you're on the other side where you don't want homeowners associations, reach out to us so we can actually point you to those areas that certainly don't have that.
And then another negative, and this is kind of along the same lines of the HOA, is a lot of Orange County is filled with HOAs, and therefore a lot of it looks the same,
Master plan communities.
The master plan communities, depending on where you are. Some of the newer ones, they've done a really good job where the houses look different. It's very eclectic.
And Ladera Ranch does a nice job of that.
Yeah, there's lots of places actually, but you know, Orange County is kind of famous for everything looking the same. I think because Irvine is so famous, and there's many neighborhoods in Irvine where it's just a different shade of beige. So yeah, that's something that some people, they really just don't like.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to understand that these master plan communities, they can actually have a lot of fantastic benefits. And again, you have amenities, you have parks kind of where you think there should be a park. You have pools, you have all these other things. However, some people like the more organic culture of where you had some homes and then some of them were redeveloped over years or whatever, where you have some variation. And again, you do have some of that, and you definitely have some of that in Orange County too.
Yeah.
It's just that, there is certainly a large segment of Orange County that is very master planned and very thought out from that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Now, another major con of Orange County, and this is a con of the entire state of California, and that is we have very high state taxes. Other things are, very high as well, like very high energy costs, high gas, that kind of stuff.
Yes, we definitely have that. Like, so for instance, energy costs, I would say like a great idea is that if you don't have solar for what you're buying into, you may want to really seriously consider that, because electric costs are pretty, on the higher side.
They're astronomical.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
They're not high.
I mean, my sister
They're not
lives,
low.
No,
Yeah.
my sister lives in Texas, and she can make her house be a meat locker all day, every day, 365 days a year, and her energy costs compared to ours are
like less
a
than half,
fraction.
yeah.
And we try not to use the air conditioning.
Yeah, because what you do, there are ways to offset it, because like we joke about this whole indoor outdoor lifestyle, but like you'll find like Californians and people from Orange County, we utilize our fans, our ceiling fans a lot. Like we actually have the sliding doors open or French doors open or whatever that is, getting air in, because it is pleasant air in general, and you have the ceiling fan circulating it or whatever. But still, depending on where you are in Orange County, you're going to have that air conditioner cranking in some parts of the summer. Yeah. And so that will come with a higher energy cost. It is what it is. I don't know what to say. Just, again, probably get solar when you get a chance to.
Yeah, for sure.
And then as far as beyond the utility aspect of things, obviously like gas prices, high. We have a specific blend here in California that I don't think it's just exclusive to California, but our gas prices are good, $1+ per gallon, higher than everywhere else.
Yeah.
Because we're very emissions concerned here, so just realize that you may want an electric vehicle for that. And you may be asking, well, if I have an electric car, that's going to make my energy costs go up. Well, a lot of these like Southern California Edison or SDG&E, San Diego Gas and Electric, those are two of the major electric providers. What's interesting about them is that they do offer some programs that if you do have electric cars and let's say you charge it, let's say in the middle of the night or whatever, you actually pay an extremely low energy price. So actually, so we both have Teslas, and the thing is that what we found was that our energy bill did not go up like noticeably at all.
No.
Like, so
maybe like $50.
I don't even think that. Like, so it was actually really low, and that was covering 2 cars fuel and not driving short distances either.
Yeah.
So just kind of be aware that we do have there are programs out there. Again, reach out to us. We can kind of let you know about some of these programs. And then tagging on top of that, now we have also
state income tax.
State income tax, which we do have, and it's some of the highest in the country. So be aware that that's just the cost of living in California in general, is that you do have high state income taxes.
Well, they call it the sunshine tax because it's so nice here. People are honestly willing to put up with anything to be here. So,
for sure.
So another con here is that the general landscape, so we're not talking about the beaches. Like, beaches and harbors here are beautiful, fantastic. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about when you get away from the beach and then you get to this
forest.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
It's called the Cleveland National Forest, but it's basically just brown shrubs.
Brush.
I find it beautiful, but that's mostly because of the nostalgia of all the years that I've spent running through the hills because I'm a runner. But if you love, green, forests, rivers, I always give
lakes.
I always give the example of my aunt. She's from Northern California, like my mom was. And my mom always hated Southern California because she thought it was ugly, just like my aunt. So yeah, if you really love greenery, like for example, I have a really good friend who moved out from San Diego to North Carolina, and she's like, it's just so beautiful in North Carolina. She loves the green, so we do not have that here.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're looking at general landscape beauty, we have it. It's just not forests, right? Like it's not like these trees, these groves or anything like that. So what we have is obviously we offset that with beautiful beaches, beautiful harbors, and all that stuff. But forests, we just don't lay out here.
Yeah, we don't have them. So another negative, and this is one that we've actually, people have called Sean and then decided not to move to Orange County specifically because of this reason, and that is no public transportation. This isn't to say that there aren't buses that you can use.
Or Metrolink.
It's just that they're
limited.
They're very, very limited. I do not personally know of anyone who has ever lived here without at least one car that they might share with like a partner or something.
My uncle and aunt, my great uncle and aunt moved here from Iran, and they were on the whole, for a couple of years, they were doing public transportation, and it would take them 2 hours to get from Long Beach to like Newport, and again, that was just, you know, that was, I mean, eventually they obviously got a car, but
that
like,
would take normally like 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where, especially, okay, like Metrolink, if you happen to like, you know, if those stops work for you, great. It's just that it's just not very well spread out. It's not robust like, let's say, Paris or London or New York for that matter. Yeah. It's pretty limited. So if it happens to work for your specific commute, amazing. Like, you're just kind of like, that's more like the winning the lottery. But otherwise, like the buses, again, they tend to be slow, like anywhere. And really, like I've had people reach out that saying, you know, well, I don't have a car, like, you know, can I get around by bike? Unfortunately, it's just spread out enough here.
Very huge.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, it's just,
the West is big.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're not from the United States, you don't realize like how big, not only the United States, but the West, like west of the Rockies, is just huge. It's spread out.
Yeah, I've used this analogy before. When my dad first moved out to the United States, he was in college and stuff like that, and he's told his dad, hey, I need a car. Like, just things aren't close enough here. And my grandfather was a bit skeptical. He just thought my dad was looking for an excuse to pick up on girls and wanted a car. And then when he did come out to visit my father, he's like, oh wow, things are really spread out here. You really can't get around without a car. And so anyone that's, you know, coming out here, it's just, you really need a car. I would be doing you a disservice by telling you that you could get around without it, because the experience is not going to be very pleasant. Yeah. And finally,
yes, the one that everyone knows.
One small issue that we have here.
Yes, and that is price of homes and cost of living, right? I mean, it's just, it's honestly like insane. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're looking at price of Orange County compared to the median home price of the United States, you're looking at double to triple the price. I mean, that just is what it is. I don't really know what to say.
That's not like, that's getting you like, you know, it's a nice house. It's not like anything they're gonna be like bragging about it, like, oh my God, this is the nicest house I've ever seen. Like, that's median.
You'll brag about where you are, but not like, exactly. I mean, people have had to really realize that they have to downsize in price if they want to, again, unless they want to pay that difference, right? I mean, that there are people that like are totally fine with that. It's just to realize that it's going to cost you. It's very expensive here. I will say, we've done videos on this, how Orange County actually, relatively speaking, is actually quite the value proposition compared to similar type, like, you know, which features you find around the world. However, if you're coming, again, for the vast majority of the world, if you're coming here, it's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah, like I like to say, so Orange County is paradise. And so for paradise, if you look at other areas around the world that are paradise, it's actually got good value. I mean, even if you compare Orange County to like the nice parts of Los Angeles, the nice parts of Northern California, it's actually cheaper than that. But yeah, just if you're comparing it to the general cost of living and price of the United States, it's just, it's higher in price. Like, there's nothing else you can say about it.
Yeah. And remember, we are licensed realtors here in the state of California. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is when you give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, remember that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.